What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. Today I will talk about the Season 7 ranked format that was just announced. I think it's really cool, but there might be a major issue that means it doesn't work. Let me know what you all think of this anyway in the comments, and if you agree with the problem I see or not. Basically, in Season 7, they're going to bring back solo and duo queue as one ladder, and they're also going to have a ranked flex queue, basically dynamic queue. This is kind of like Season 5, really, with the solo duo queue. That's kind of how that part works, and it's also like Season 6 with the dynamic queue. So basically they put the both together for Season 7. It does say that you can play in both because there's going to be unique rewards for both ladders, but there's going to be an extra special reward if you get to at least gold in both of those. But it does mean you have to pick which ladder you're going to play in. Are you going to play in the solo and duo queue one and climb up that one, and then you're going to have to start over in the ranked flex one if you want the rewards from that queue. That is basically how it's going to work in Season 7. There's also a cool thing though where you can pick your primary role and your secondary role like you can now in this season, but you can also veto your least favored role. This means like if autofill is on, or if you pick Phil or something like that, then you can actually pick a role that you don't want to get. So say you pick Phil but you can't play top lane, you can put Phil and veto top so you won't get that role. That's actually a nice little addition, but the main thing from this post is obviously solo and duo queue and the rank flex queue. Two ladders alongside each other you play separately. In my opinion, this whole thing is really cool. It's a really good idea if it works, but imagine if 75% of people play in the solo or duo queue, then obviously queues for dynamic queue with only 25% of the population playing there will be really long. Maybe it will be the other way around. Maybe everyone will play in the flex queue, but I assume most would naturally just go to solo and duo if you're playing alone anyway, which actually I think is most people. Most people don't play with others. The problem here is that if everyone goes to one queue, then the other queue is going to be like rank 5s, where you wait for ages in a queue, and people are going to get sick of it. They're just going to flock to the other one. The start of this season when we had dynamic and stuff, remember I said that solo and dynamic couldn't exist together because of the queue times. Like if you're going to play one queue, then the other queue is going to get left alone. We were actually right as well. Riot cancelled solo queue because they couldn't have two ladders existing together, and now they're bringing it back to be like the same issue. The weird thing is, for me, they haven't actually said how they're going to fix this. They did say at the bottom that maybe they'll stop this, and if it becomes a problem then they'll deal with it at the time, but surely they have to see this might actually have an issue. The reason I'm saying it's really cool but there's this big problem is because I don't know if this is going to end up working, to be honest. Like, what do you guys think? Like, am I right? Am I wrong? I have no idea. Obviously we don't until it's actually implemented, but this is what I think might happen. Riot thinks so with these two queues, right? The solo queue is the ability to solo carry. That's what you should be demonstrating and being a leader for your team. I'm not sure if they're playing the same solo queue that we're playing, because being a leader for your team doesn't exactly happen in solo queue very often. The flex one though is supposed to be more about champion select. You focus on team comps and they have their own meta, early invades, rotations, more strategy. Again, I don't know if Riot are playing the same kind of rank system that we're having, but dynamic queue didn't exactly promote more strategy really. The backup plan though for these guys is that if flex doesn't work, then they're going to have a 5-man only queue, which is basically rank 5s instead of flex, and then just have solo and duo for everybody else. So if that's what Riot thinks though, what do I think is actually going to work? Like, I've been playing ranked for like 5 or 6 seasons now, and so I have a rough idea of maybe how this could go. So strategy wise, I honestly doubt this will change much at all. Strategy requires a lot of thought before the game normally, actually having a plan. It's not so much about just playing with friends. It's probably going to come down to win lane, win game, exactly how it is now really. A lot of camp and roam plays more than anything else. Riot think everybody who will queue for flex will be because they want to play as a team, but a lot of it is going to be because they want to play with friends and think it's easier, which honestly it probably will be a bit easier to climb. Some people are going to take it more seriously. Those guys will do really well because they have this pre-planned strategy and stuff, and games might be less of a clown fiesta, but honestly I think it will stay similar to what it is now. With the meta stuff though, I actually do think solo carry champions like damage champions might be a bit more popular in solo and duo queue, just because you kind of do need to carry a bit harder. I think the metas are going to be similar, but for flex I think it'll probably lean more to like the LCS with team picks if it's just a team queue. The issue this season was it was the same queue, so you'd have the pre-mades and the solos together, right? So people picked whatever they wanted. Next season though, if you queue for flex, you're probably more interested in team play, so actually we might see more team comps and team picks come out. I imagine that flex games will last a bit longer, have more team fights, to be more of a tank meta and like hyper carry ADs. For solo queue games, I think that'd be quicker, more snowballing, more carry meta, maybe more ganks, and like the early game will have a bit more of an impact on the result of the game. So difficulty wise though, per role, like what do I think it's going to impact? Like support I think will be easier in the flex in my opinion. You don't even have to be pre-made with them. Support is like an enabling role. You help make plays. If others are pre-made, chances are they're going to follow up a bit more and use your playmaking ability. For the jungle role, it could be easier or harder actually depending. Like tank junglers I think will be better for you in flex, like your team can carry and they're going to follow up on your engage. Carry junglers could go either way, so one side, like your team is going to help you more, follows your like big dick players in the flex queue. The other side is the enemy team wards more, stops you getting fed, like you can't gank and you can't 1v5 and snowball as much, so that'll make it harder. For mid lane, I think it'll probably be easier in solo queue. Like you dumps to your lane and you just roam over and over. Top, again, either like solo, you can win 1v1, I guess, but flex can TP gank more. It depends what style of play you have. For AD carry, I think it's probably a bit easier in flex though, because the team protects you, your pre-made maybe with your support. Basically, you have more help. You don't have to like 1v5 as hard as you would have to in solo queue, but also probably it has more focus on you and 4-man ganks, which nobody likes. Really, flex is going to come down to who is a better pre-made and who talks more, plans stuff out, I think, who makes the plays and who reacts. The one normally reacting is the one behind and loses. Ultimately, I don't think there's going to be a ton of difference going into the new season once it settles down after a few months, but you will have to choose which ladder you want to play in. At the start of the season, everybody will be trying out both queues, so I think it's going to be okay to start with. After that initial period, I expect there to be a choice between which queue people go into, and one queue becomes way more popular, and that might be when we have a really big issue. Solo and duo will probably have more damage picks and solo carry stuff like that. Flex will be more tanks and playmaking stuff thrown in alongside those damage ones. It's really going to come down to queue times more than anything else, in my opinion. Like, it's a really cool idea, but I think as soon as either flex or solo queue loses a bit of the player base and the queue times go up, the others will leave because the other queue is shorter and they just want to play the game, and probably it's going to be the flex queue because a lot of people play solo. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's see what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and as always, let's go to the robots.